Okay, people, guys, but anyway, people of the Daily Bread, guys, I'm so excited today. I am with, I don't want to call you my homeboy because we're not there yet.
Hey.
But it's, I'm kidding. I'm here with the respectable Tony. You guys can even share, like, Google. But thank you so much, Tony, for joining me today. How are you doing?
I'm fine, and you?
I'm good. So today, no wait, let me first tell the people how I got to know you, because this is a funny story. And then from there we'll dive into everything else. So I get a phone call randomly, and I don't know who's on the other side. That's the funny part, because I just talk however I talk, but sometimes I need to be respectful. But I just talked, and this person on the other side's like, I've watched your show, you know, you need to consider reviewing more South African series. And I was like, I don't really like South African series because they're boring. You know, I have to bite my tongue sometimes.
And she's South African at the time.
And I'm also South African at the time. So I was like, I don't like South African series because they're boring. And then he basically told me to challenge myself in watching South African series. I was like, well, what series should I watch? Because at the time, I only liked two series, which was Lockdown and Blood and Water. And I said, what other series do you want me to watch then? And then he said, well, I was part of a show called Tjovitjo, which is on Netflix. I was like, okay, so who exactly am I talking to? Because how are you on a show on Netflix? At that point, I was like, damn, I talked too much. So that's why you're here today, because you said I must watch Tjovitjo, and then we'll chat about it. So we're going to chat more about all things Tjovitjo, okay?
Yeah.
So I did watch it. And I've got questions that need answers. But my first question is, what was your role in Tjovitjo besides you being Umujanchi? What was your role? Was there any other role? What did you do?
But before we get there, I want to ask you a question.
Ask the question.
Like, did you finish the series?
I watched it twice.
You watched it twice?
Twice.
That means it caught your attention.
No. Not that. But we'll get into that. I watched it twice because, okay, you're jumping the gun, but it's fine. Let me give context. So I watched it the first time, and I was like, man, I'm so confused. I don't know what is happening. I don't know what's going on. Then I went and read about it. I read about, I think it's Umuloi.
Yeah.
He's the creator.
The writer and the director.
Exactly. Yeah. And I read about what his goal was in terms of creating Tjovitjo. Then I watched it again, and then I appreciated it even more, because I was like, I see what you're trying to do here. So when I watched it the second time, I definitely appreciated it more.
Okay. Now you can ask your question.
Now I can ask my question. What was your role in Tjovitjo?
Well, basically, to tell you the honest truth, right? And in mostly comparing the international shows with our local shows. International show, first of all, they have budgets.
Ooh.
Like mad. Second of all, they have created, if you look at your American series or maybe your British series or European with the American and South American, South African, we're more or less the same, but not quite. So you'll find that there is a DNA when you watch their shows.
Absolutely.
So there's something that you can follow, there's a style, there's a certain composition, but when you come to us, we still struggle. And we don't struggle because we don't know. We struggle because we're trying to mimic and copy others.
Absolutely.
So we'll try that. We'll steal a little bit of British there and steal a little bit of America there. And if something hits us from Brazil or something, like there is no director in South Africa who would not tell you about City of God. You know what I mean? And everybody just goes crazy because there's something that we see in Brazil that kind of like resembles who we are and how we grew up and stuff like that, and the stories that we tell and what they go through and what we go through. And there's some kind of like a DNA that we can draw from the Brazilian filmmakers or Brazilian stories. But not all of them, some of them. So South Africa then got into that confusion. And then with Vincent, maybe let me give you a little bit of a background on how
That'd be lovely. Thank you.
So Vincent, I was his senior director when we were doing some hospital series. I used to abuse him a lot. If I didn't want to work, I'll call him, Vincent, come and direct this thing, and I'll go and do another job somewhere. He doesn't like that stuff. So in growing, obviously, then we started growing when we were growing up in the industry, obviously, in connecting, in him doing his documentaries, me doing other things, series, and being exposed to other. But the mind was always to say, how do we then build our own language in terms of film? How do we build how do we identify South Africanness within us and within our films, in everything that we do? And then he got to do Tjovitjo, and he called me in the middle of it and say, no money, don't have budget, I don't have this, I don't have this, and this, but I have this guy on and whatever. Actually, Tjovitjo, we wanted to do it as a Free State project.
Okay.
So I was coming in as a producer, but obviously, as a filmmaker, was getting, what you call it, impatient.
Okay.
So to speak. I was getting very impatient.
Because I read that this project was a long time in the making, something around 5 years.
So as he was getting it, he was like, whatever little I get, I will just push whatever I have, And that's why then you see most of the people who are there, it's like raw talent.
Absolutely.
You don't really have big names. So we're like, okay, fine, let's join hands. So I called a couple of friends to say, listen, this is what Vincent is going through. And they said, oh, actually, we've already spoken to Vincent. We are on it already. Which is Rapulana Tshepiso and other. And Warren, I think he was already spoke to.
As the lead of the
he already
group.
spoke to him. And I came in the middle, basically. As you can see, that the story, there's no Mujanji in the beginning of the story.
Absolutely.
This guy comes in.
Who comes out of nowhere. Really.
But it's how you creatively put those things together and make sure that the story works without you losing the chutzpah of the story.
So one thing I'll say that was really interesting, like you said, there's a certain DNA that we're used to, and with the Daily Bread, I love watching series, but I'm used to watching a certain type of series, like the American series specifically. So those are the ones you'll usually find. And then when you challenged me to watch it, I watched it, but a lot of the time I was confused because, let's say, the first episode, Uzinhle gets murdered, and that is not resolved until probably, was it episode 12 or 13 of the final season. And I was mad. I was like, where is justice for Uzinhle? Who killed it? Nobody says anything about Uzinhle until, and usually what I'm used to is that I thought that was the storyline. I thought, okay, we're going to follow how on earth it is that Uzinhle got killed. But it's got nothing to do with that, not at least in the beginning. So I really do, once I read about what the series is about, firstly, and that they in fact purposely moved away from this DNA that you speak of the American series. I was like, oh, okay. So when I watched it the second time, I definitely appreciated it more, and no, it was just phenomenal. I'm not gonna lie to you, I really enjoyed it. And then that moves me to my second question, which is about the music videos. I must say that was the one thing I genuinely enjoyed. First question I have, do you know if these songs are available on any streaming device? We
made those songs. Those are our songs.
Are they available? That's what I'm asking. Spotify, are they there? YouTube, where can we find them as you can find them on your iTunes and stuff like that. That's
but we're trying to create our own platforms where we are able to have control over what's going on there. I mean, there's just a lot of stories in terms of iTunes. When you put your album out there, you can sell 1,000 copies and there's 50 cents per unit or something like that. So the numbers don't really make sense.
Yes.
So it's like you just putting it out there on iTunes for you to be famous, but not making anything out of it.
But
we want the fame to go
a lot.
The value.
100%. I must say I loved the songs that were there. I want to ask you, that's how we're introduced to Umjanji. Yes. He walks into the club, then all of a sudden a guy starts rapping. I was like, oh my gosh, you are rapping. Did you rap? Was that you?
Yes, that was me.
You created the song? No
We
way!
created the song.
Was it the three of you? All three of
there's the three of us. But the guy on the left, he's the one who produced the whole thing.
That was a very cool song.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I was like, okay, there's a little bit of swag here. I see it. I love this song.
Introducing trap in Sesotho. So we do also dancehall in Sesotho.
So are you thinking of a career, not a career per se, but also going into music, or would it be music through series the way you did in Tjovitjo?
You know what? The thing is, one has always been an artist. And when you grow up as an artist, you do a lot of artistry stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just that South Africa knows me as
the actor.
Yes. Who's director for for Zone 14 and blah blah blah. But they don't know the other side of,
But maybe
a lot of people haven't seen me on theater stages. Yes. A lot of people haven't seen me playing drums.
So that's why I was asking you, did you rap that? Because some people could be lip singing, and I was like, no, you're actually talented in rapping. I thoroughly enjoyed that song and all the songs, and I really loved also the cinematography and how they showed you, okay, we're about to go into a music video. That they changed the aspect ratio and stuff. That was really cool. Like, I want to really commend the whole team for that idea specifically. It was really awesome.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Really, really awesome.
Thanks to Vincent for that as well.
Shout out to him. No, I like I said, the first time I watched it, I was super confused. I was like, I don't know what's going on here. Then the second time I watched it, I think it's also because there were so many stories being told, and that's what he wanted.
But this is the thing. You don't have money. You can only get actors at a certain time, only when they are available. But the DOP, the sound guy, and all the guys who are working in the crew, they can't wait for you.
Absolutely.
To wait for Tony to come and set, for him to do whatever. So you have to make, and that's where, I recommend his creative thinking. And thinking on the goal as like, okay, fine, I can't get Tony today. I can use, who do I have? I have that actor, that actor. Okay, where's the script? Let's change the script to do, that's where some of the things are a little bit confusing. And that's why when sometimes you come back again, we're like, you can't go there because you've already done this. So let's take this one there, and do this and do this and do that. And it needed that collaborative work.
But I will say though, I think this kind of series is a series you must watch twice in order to understand. I'm not saying that, it didn't make sense at all. It's just that for the first time, I was like, I don't know what is going on here. But when I watched it the second time, for example, in the second season, it's revealed that Thandeka's mom is Utidi, right? I was like, where on earth did this come from? When I watched it again, when Ukopano comes in, she explains, how Kopano is the niece. She explains how, you were pregnant when you were 15. And then I was like, that's where they first met. They already mentioned it long time ago. I think it's just concentration, I guess. But when you watch something again, you get to appreciate what it is. And I caught a lot of things because I was like, where on earth did virus come from? Why did Sipho die? Who's Punyuk? What is going on? And then when I watched it again, I was like, this makes sense now. So really, now that you're saying this person had a low budget and they still were able to produce this, I really do want to commend it. It was such a great job. Thumbs up to Vincent. I'm a psychologist. My people know I'm a psychologist, and there was loads of psychology in this show that maybe, I don't know if other people noticed it, but it's something that I noticed. I want you to speak more on it. First of all, Warren. Because I don't watch a lot of South African series, I don't know who Warren was, honestly. I knew him, but I didn't know what he was capable of, I guess. And then I saw him again in Black is King. I was like, I know this guy. Warren did a fantastic job, especially on the mental ill, like, not that he was mentally ill, but he was traumatized, he was depressed, he had been through a lot. Was this purposefully done? Especially through a masculine figure.
And again, you look at the area at where they live. You hardly see your Santin. You hardly see your like this beautiful cars that come into the. So they're kind of like a ghetto where people are trapped in that society where depression, anger, bitterness, and they still want to feel like I'm the man in this, you know. But still, they're not getting it
at all.
They're not even reaching out, not even an ounce of it, to push to the next level in life. So that's what that community does to them. And the only thing that can release the stress for them, it's dance.
It's the dance. And I was literally about to bring that up. One of the reasons why I really despised Bratera, I'm like, can't you see that this is their only form of expression, the only form where they can release, because a lot of people are angry. You see so many scenes. Undeka, there was a scene where she was just so emotional. She's like, I'm tired of being here. Utandeka as well. A lot of people are just like, we're tired of being here, but dance is the only form of letting go.
Yeah.
So I want to ask you a question. So for real, Bratera started this war that stopped everybody from dancing. That's what it seemed like. Just because Umandisa got pregnant, and I don't know, she got an abortion.
Yes.
From what's his face? Oh, I'm forgetting Warren's name. Frederick. Fred, sorry. Is that the only reason? Or was it that he always did not like Tjovitjo, the group, the dancers?
No, he was the man who would bring in, it's just like somebody who brings in entertainment.
Okay.
And Bratera is the guy who brings in this happiness to the
community.
And he would put a prize to this dancing thing.
Okay.
Where people come and dance and do whatever, and they can win. So that little happiness comes. So he was feeling. So as he grows older, he's getting sick, and he cannot maintain that whole Mr. Terror of entertainment, blah 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 blah. Now the young ones are coming in, they're saying we want to take this thing over.
My Fred being one of the prominent figures.
But now my Fred does not have money to do those kind of things. That then Mujanchi comes and says, I'll put 20 grand down.
Yes.
But the whole community goes, there's another one.
I love that. I love the power struggle between my Fred, Mujanchi, and Bratera.
Yes.
They're the three prominent figures, and there's this fight for power, and it's like, no matter what cost, we're gonna get it. Doesn't matter if there are kids involved, they're gonna die. And things like that. And what does that say about people what this community is going through? So is it that are their characters like, I don't care, I just want power? Or do we care about our community? What is that struggle?
They do, but they don't have the muscle to help beyond what they can do. So what happens is, you see Mujanchi comes in, he's a thug. He steals, he does illegal mining somewhere.
He just wants his gold. That's it.
He does illegal mining. So that community is closer to the mine. So it's easier for him to use the community for him to be able to do the whole illegal mining thing. And he uses even the boys from the area to say, listen, you will dance, don't worry, just go get me 1, 2, 3, 4 and come back. He doesn't want to do it himself. So the only way he could keep the community happy and bring, so he knows that if I go to that woman, the one who sells beer,
TD. Yes.
If I go to TD, who's everyone's darling in terms of saying
because she's selling the beer, everybody wants.
And she's
beer.
I just want to get just whatever you do, just.
Now I found that interesting.
With her, then he knows if I go to her, then I know that I've grabbed something.
Absolutely.
And all I need to do is Tara owes me something. I need to put him on check so that he doesn't come into all these things that he does. He doesn't try to stop what's going to help me to get to the illegal money.
Absolutely. So just with the, like I said earlier, I love the music videos. Another thing I could not stop laughing was the last few episodes where is it a documentary crew that comes? It's Unomzamo Mbata as the hostess. So what I found so interesting is that this went from a serious drama, all of a sudden it switched gears and became honestly what I call, it's like a mockumentary where the camera guy doesn't know what he's doing. As he's recording, the boom goes into the frame. That was so hilarious. Where Do you know where that idea came from?
That's Vincent's idea. But it's that whole thing of saying, when it's like people living in a squatter camp, and you always have this crew comes in of these known whatever people who will come in there and be like, okay guys, we just want to know why you eat park.
And I find it interesting that it was black people who did it.
Exactly.
It was black, like the you know what I was thinking? I was like, yo, Mara, these people really make Model C going kids, like school going kids, look bad, because it's the accents, it's the I'm better than everyone, and the flies everywhere. Nomzamo's character she killed me. I was laughing so much, but yeah.
But then you see, that's the different shades of blacks. Of saying there's a black that we have lost and it has gone that way. That it doesn't even want to understand and put themselves and their soul into the feet or next to these kind of people.
So even through comedy, there's commentary, that is happening there. I didn't even see it that way.
It releases, so you don't make it that serious, so that it releases tension. It's tense, but you're saying, look at you, this is who you are. But anyway, let's laugh about it. But don't forget, that's who you are.
That's crazy. I actually never thought about it in that way.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. That is honestly... No, I'm impressed. I thought I wouldn't like the series, but it grew on me. And I think once I started to understand where it was coming from, then I was like, okay, no, this is work. I have one more comment I want to make.
Before you make that comment, you see what you were, the idea that you were about South African series.
Yes.
It's exactly what Nomzamo is.
Absolutely.
You understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I also think to a certain extent it's just exposure. I grew up with DSTV. What do they play on DSTV? I grew up like going to varsity, we have Wi-Fi, Sometimes I don't have access to either South African so when we go to varsity, we don't have access to, back then Showmax wasn't there. I think Showmax was doing a great job. But we didn't have access to South African series either. Because at some point I wanted to watch City Sesla. Because growing up, I thought that was a great, a comedy series that was
made
quite.
By Mandla.
Yes, who made? That's why I was like, okay, I'm sorry, Mandla. I didn't think you were capable in lockdown, But I'm going to dive into lockdown in another set. But. Access sometimes. So what do you think about the access of South African series to maybe, let's say, younger people like me? Let's say I want to watch because you're also I saw somewhere on Twitter that you had a brilliant exit scene for Imbeu.
Yeah.
Where do I watch Imbeu? Where do I have access? And I'm the type of person, I like to watch things from episode 1, even if it's a telenovela.
It is most finished.
Where can I watch these things, and what are your ideas around access?
You see, before we get to access, maybe it's the attitude that we have as people towards who we are as a country. And mostly not understanding, it's because we live in areas like this.
Absolutely.
We don't have access to Enanda. We don't have access to the ghetto and stuff like that. Because that's where it has to start. Young people need to expose themselves to every little thing about the country.
Black culture.
So what happens is that we believe so much in what we are being told, and more especially because we're coming from these Model C schools, there's a certain thinking that comes with that, which is very far from at times who we are as black people, or what really black people are going through. And then it makes you to just carry the skin but not the heart
or the experience.
Yeah, because that's where it has to start. And that's why we're always saying, let's look for the DNA of who we are. Let's go into the ghetto, let's see how those people and why they live like that, what makes them so sad and what makes them happy.
Absolutely.
Why is it that people can dance like the way they dance
and express
and
themselves?
then they express, you can see that this guy, it is like half of my wardrobe, it doesn't even have half of what I have in my wardrobe. We only have maybe one pair of shoes, but
and
play
yet they're
that song.
so happy.
But play that song,
yeah,
put it there, put him there, what makes him to get, and why is it other people or other races cannot do the same?
Yeah.
So that's where Tjovitjo taps into as well.
No, that's
So
deep.
the exposure to who we are as people, and not forgetting the values of who we are as Africans, and more especially Ubuntu.
Yeah.
Ubuntu. You know, that I am because you are. So how do I then reach? How can you be while you're so far away from me and you're so distant? You want to talk to me that you look me at I'm a para or whatever. You know what I mean? When are you gonna come close and really try to understand what I'm going through? In terms of psychology, what it is that you guys are doing in terms of.
Ooh, you don't want to know.
You know what I mean?
You don't want to know. I think it's a huge issue. We tend to learn about the psychological experience of mainly white people. And I'm like, for me as myself as a psychology student in masters, I'm a unicorn in itself. And then it becomes because I was the only black person in my class for neuropsychology. And then what does that say about, we're in South Africa, but yet the representation is a little bit,
Skewed.
it's skewed, it's off balance. And what does that mean? Because we go into hospitals that have mainly people who speak Vernac. Then it becomes my responsibility to translate, to speak to those people.
And the other thing is, when the analysis of whatever you're trying to do, when the reports come out, obviously they have a certain view.
And they're biased.
An opinion.
Absolutely.
So if I don't come from where you come from, there's no way that my opinion will favor or will reflect what you are. So I'm going to put it in my own way. And it will still make sense.
Absolutely.
Educational sense. So
But
when it
experiential sense, it won't make sense.
You know what I mean? So when I am there and I'm reading this thing, it makes so much sense. If I read in the newspapers, it makes so much sense. But the people who are living that life, who are experiencing it, day in and day out, they will say something different from what you've written. So we need to find that balance. And the balance means that the voice of young people, and most especially who come from the model scene, they need to go back to reconnect with the African roots in understanding what people are about and what are they going through and why are they going through that, and what solution can we bring without causing any pain, without causing any violence, death or whatever.
Without being disrespectful. No, 100%. There's definitely like a commentary on race, and I think also commentary on gender as well, that I loved in Tjovitjo. I think Thandeka made an excellent, I literally had to pause and think about it, because there's that the scenes where she, in order to get food, it's insinuated that she sleeps with the person. I'm not too sure where they say he's from, but probably another African country, the owner of this puzzle shop. And then in return of that, she gets the food. But then her mother becomes really angry and says, why are you with this foreigner? And she said, why do you treat foreigners like animals? And that I don't want to marry a South African man because they will kill me. They're out there killing their wives, and gender-based violence is a huge thing in South Africa. I don't know how many times we go on Instagram, we open the newspaper, somebody has died at the hands of an intimate partner or anything like that. So what do you as a black man who's South African, say about that? And also, what do you think Tjovitjo was trying to communicate through its series in terms of gender-based violence and everything that was going on there?
Well, what Tjovitjo was trying to communicate was basically saying that this is what we are going through. Just putting it blank, let's say, this is what pain men we are causing to these women, and this is what they say about us. But it did not finish to say what to do next. So it just left it at that.
So then what to do next?
And I will still say we need to go back to our African values. There is a way in which in African system and values women are treated. There is nowhere anywhere in African systems, all of them, from Cape to Cairo, where it says women must be killed, or this must be happening to women, or this and this and this and that. There's a way in which they have their place, and in their places they are respected in that, and they have the leadership within them.
Absolutely. There's lots of matriarchs, patriarchs, and whatever.
Lots of those.
Yes.
Ubuntu means that I am because you are, why would I kill you?
Sure.
So it just goes back to that simple value.
And we are far removed.
I have to respect you for you to respect me.
Absolutely.
You know? I have to show you kindness for you to be kind to me. Unless there's something wrong with you. And I keep on showing you kindness and you just go find
Yeah.
it. And okay, something, he needs help or she needs help. You know what I mean? So in all those things, they're there. And then we keep on moving away from who we are. And the more we move away from who we are, is the more we gravitate in towards the animal part of ourselves.
Animals, yeah, absolutely. Which is raw, violent,
You know?
all those kind of things. What we're basically seeing
Exactly.
now.
If I don't get what I want, then I have to forcefully get it.
Yes.
If I cannot succeed in this, then I have to make means to make someone cry or pay for it.
Crazy.
You know?
Crazy
And then
stuff.
we have this idea of people wanting to be rich. Hustling, man, all day for the money, dog. Money, money. That's another thing that brings tension. So you don't get that money, so what you gonna do?
Then you're gonna be dodgy about how you get the money.
You sell your
And
soul,
then you
sell
hurt-
your friend.
You hurt people.
Look what happens with this thing of Nyopi. They will sell the whole house.
They will kill. There's the one scene where Usipo asked his mother, "Can I have money?" It looked like he killed his mother because she said, "I don't know." I don't know if he actually did kill her, but he was literally strangling her.
It suggests that.
Your own mother.
Yeah. But did you see how Sipo becomes an animal?
Absolutely.
Because he could not get to where he wanted to be. He wanted to be close to Mjanji. He wanted to be close to this. He was then being chased by that one and whatever because he was hustling.
And
It's that idea of trying to hustle and becoming something important, and you cannot be that important. You can't be patient enough for you to wait for your turn to be there, and you start creating your own little things.
that involves other people.
And people who are close to you are the ones who suffer the most.
Oof.
Your mom, your dad, your sister,
Your
household, your
friends.
friends, your girlfriend, your boyfriend.
And
all
then
of
people
that.
die.
So you take that kind of attitude, Yakasipo, you take it to the slave queen. It's the same spirit,
Oh yes. Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
You take that very same one to the cheese boards, same spirit. So if you trace it, you're like, okay, these are the people who are trying to do. It's just that
There's a common denominator
Yeah.
in everything.
exactly.
Sure.
So that's what becoming. That spirit is what it has become our culture now.
And you're saying we need to go back.
Saying, take it away. Let's go back and reconfigure ourselves.
Lovely.
Even if you go, I'm sorry to add this.
No,
one.
it's okay.
Even if you go to churches, you have the same thing.
We didn't even get into that. Oh,
Do you remember the priest?
the problematic nature within church. It's about power and what he was doing.
That's what it is. Wanting more people to come to my church. The
Ooh,
more people come to my church, the more money I make.
we didn't even dive into that. Was also very deep.
You go to these churches now where people go driving in, like, ask yourself, where do these people get this money to buy all these cars from? You know what I mean?
Are they doing legitimate businesses?
You know what I mean? You go into that church, there are special seats for these kind of people. That thing of us just coming to church, like if I'm number one, I'll sit in the front. If I'm
If I got there first, I can sit there.
Now you can't. They're like,
Absolutely.
"So, Chief, can you please go?" I'm like, no, but I got here in. No. There's someone who's coming to sit
They're
here.
the special guests that must sit here. The ones who are going to donate the monies.
You know what I mean?
Oh my word.
They have a special spiritual touch, or so what happens is that the churches now have put value to spirituality. For those who put more money into the church,
Oh.
those who drive beautiful cars,
Come on.
they will have better seats in church.
You better preach your whole word.
Not knowing whether are they okay with God
Sure.
or us. be done. No.
You preaching today. You are preaching
I'm
today.
not preaching, I'm just saying.
I'm just saying, you're
Go back
preaching.
to Africa. Let's go back to under the tree.
Sure. Thank you so much for all your insightful knowledge, allowing me to pick your brain. Appreciate you coming here and joining me in this space. Can I ask what's next? What's next? Or can you say what you're planning to do? What going into music? What is it that you want?
There's a lot. I just shot a music video last week.
Come on.
So I'll probably send it to you some. I think I'll be finished next week, Tuesday or Wednesday.
Exclusive access. Thank you. Thank you.
And we're trying to launch the album as well.
Come on, that's amazing.
And then the Sutu as well. It's called the situation.
So now how we go? Yeah, I
So,
don't know enough.
you
We're just like the beats, ne?
will have to find a way, and we go deep. We even go to the worst.
I literally had to read the subtitles for Tjovitjo because Sutu was deep. Then up on my name is Dimpo. I should be knowing Sutu, but I don't.
But with the L, right?
With the L, the proper Dimpo.
Because the Sowetan Depot is the D.
The D, nah, mine's the proper one, the legitimate one. So music, anything else, or you just being you,
Yes.
doing your thing.
Yeah, doing music and a couple of things that I'm doing, some international thing. We're just waiting for, hoping that this lockdown, what do you call it?
Quarantine,
This
lockdown,
yeah.
all of
It
that.
becomes better in September, October.
Yeah.
So we can go back. One of our, there's a series also called Jiva. I'm sure.
I did see that one come out. Is it out yet on Netflix?
It's not out yet because I think we stopped shooting in the middle of, what do you call the COVID-19 started.
Yes,
We were right in the middle of
I did. I saw the advert for, or the trailer rather not the
Yeah.
advert on Netflix. It looks amazing.
yeah.
So we can look forward to that.
That's also coming. Yeah.
We just know you're busy.
I'm not busy. I'm trying to make good art.
That's good.
I'm trying to make good art,
That's good.
and I'm hoping that it comes out like that. I don't want to be a celebrity. I want to be an artist.
There's a difference.
Huge.
There's a difference.
You want to talk about it?
Do we even have the time? Tony, thank you so much. I'm so appreciative of you taking the time to come chat with me. Yeah, guys, that was jam-packed. That was great. That was everything. Yeah, see you guys on the next episode. Bye.